G'day guys. So as you know, I've been pretty crook the last couple of weeks. Now I've come down with a cold of all things, so apologise for my voice being a bit funny at the moment. So as you know, I've been working on a few of these style picks. You saw some in the last video. These are a few more that I've made working on them. So it popped into my head, excuse me, a lot of these picks are rakes. The ones that you can actually buy on PickPals and stuff like that, and sites such as that, rakes and the traditional bow guitar style. So it popped in my head, what about city rakes for rocking locks? Just get these into a bit of an order. So as you can see, I've been working on some. Now these are the more traditional style of L-rakes, city rakes that you get, and I've been using these on a couple of locks I have, and I must say I'm actually quite impressed. I think I prefer these over the traditional rock pick because of the style of them. I find it's a bit easier to rock in the locks. So these are the more traditional style ones, and it popped into my head about trying some different style L-rake. So this is the first one I made. I'm not quite happy with how it turned out. So the tip on this end is a bit too steep for my liking. I made it in more of a challenge bitting style. So you got always have the highest pin at the back, or a higher pin at the back compared to the others, whereas the more traditional style has the low cut. My camera will focus. Has the low cut on at the back. So weren't quite happy with that one. So I made another one, which got a little bit more of a slant to come up to the first one, first pin, and I've tested it and it does work. So very happy with this. I've got a little bit of the medium wiper blade left, so I'll take you through what I do to make these. So let's get this stuff out the way. So first thing you need is medium wiper blade, which I've got to cut to size. And you're going to need some, these ones I picked up the other day, some, if you can see, mini files. So use these for making your security pins and homemade pins and stuff like that. So bought a set of them, picked this one up for $10 just to give it a go, see what it's like. So these are the files here. So all I use is a round file and a flat. So you'll need them, a set of pliers. I've got 1200 grit sandpaper, wet and dry, and 400 grit. So I'll just measure up and cut a piece of this windshield wiper blade and then put it in the vise and get back. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a piece cut in the vise and just a little bit poking out the end of the vise. Now I don't like to put a heap of it sitting out, because when you start the file it bounces around and moves around. So first thing I always do is, once I get it in the vise like this, I'll zoom in a little bit. Now I won't bore you with the whole watching me file every single bit continuously, but I'll do a little bit and then pause video and keep going. So I like to come back from the end just a little bit so that I can do the first notch and then file down this corner so that it'll slide into lock better, unlike what I did with that first one that I showed you. So try and do this without getting the cameras away. So just hop back just from the edge, do a little mark, so as you can see, or if you can see it, there's a mark just here. So I'm a little bit back from the edge so that once I've finished doing this notch here, I can round off that edge. So I'll do this notch and then come back to it. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the first notch in. So that's the depth I want to go for the first one. Now, because of the size of the files, I like to go down the depth and then do a few licks off to the side. So just push it off to the side rather than going down, just to extend that notch just a little bit more. So now I'm just going to file off the front section here, just down, so it makes a nice smooth transition. So I use the flat file on the side here, just give it, and every time I file, even doing the notches, I only go one way, and I do one stroke at a time. I don't go forwards and backwards, one stroke at a time with medium to light pressure, which I'll explain why at the end. So I'll do this, pause it, and then come back. Okay, so as you can see, I've taken off the front section along here, rounded that out, left a notch here, and the bump at the top. Now I'm going to go through and do the lower cut one next, then a higher cut, lower cut, higher cut, then another lower cut. I'll go ahead and do all these, then I'll come back to the camera and take you through the next step. Okay, so as you can see, I've done all the notches now for it. So I've got the high one at the front here, low cut, high cut, low cut, high cut. Then this very last one I like to do somewhere in between the high cut and the low cut. Now I don't want to go down too far because otherwise it weakens it off too much and they have a tendency to snap just about here. So on one of my normal city rake picks, it actually snapped right where I was saying, where it comes down, it snaps off right about there. So I like to do in between the highest cut and the lowest cut, about in the middle for that one there. But as you can see, it's as rough as guts. Now, if my camera will focus for me, come on. Come on. These are pretty square along the tops. So after I take the flat file and I will just run it across and round out all the tops. So I'll do that and then I'll show you. Okay, so as you can see, I've now rounded off the tops with the flat file. Now I'm going to take, I'll zoom out, I'm going to take the round file and just a little piece of the 400 grit. I'm just going to wrap it on there and I'm going to go through and sand each one of these notches. So that's why I'd like to use the medium to light tension pressure when I file, I find it doesn't do as deep a groove, so it doesn't take as much effort to sand nice and smooth. So I'll go and do that. Then excuse me, I'll go over all of this with the 400, smooth it all out. Then I'll do the exact same with the 1200 and then come back to it and show you. Okay, so as you can see, I've been gone over that with the 400 and then the 12. A little bit of dust in there, but cleaned it all up. The other thing I like to do is just take the flat file and just thin out this bit here, just before the markings or the cutout, so as you can see it a little bit thinner. Might actually take that down a little bit more, but I might just sand that back a little bit. So I'm just going to take some of the 1200 between my fingers here, and I'm just going to give this a good sand and clean up. I'll finish doing that and then we'll get back to it. Okay, so I've got it all cleaned up. I've got it locked back in the vise so I can put the twist in the handle. So I use a pair of pliers just to grip the wiper blade, and then try to do this around the camera. Without hitting the camera. Put a nice twist in it. So I want to make it so that it's nice and flat and level with the top of the vise and the top of the pick. Like that. Make sure it's nice and straight. Then I'll bend that down. It's got the bend in it. As you can see, it's a little bit lopsided, so I'll straighten that up. Sure it's in the right position. Yep. Take it back out the vise, move the vise off to the side, and 1200. Give that little bit of a clean up where it's sitting in the vise. So just clean that up a little bit more. Alright. So that's how I make the second one. Now I'll probably do a lot more sanding on this just to clean it right up so it looks really nice. But gives you a quick rundown on how I go making city rakes. So once I've finished, I've run out of medium wiper blade. But once I've finished, I'm going to make up a set of 3 rakes, or city rakes. And then I'll work out a special giveaway that I'll do for giving out a set of these on the channel, so stay tuned for that. So I've got a little bit more work to do, but all worth it in the end. As I said, you can make all different types and pretty easy to do. So happy with these. So until next time, cheers guys.